industry, I want to welcome you to the Rally for California Relief. We have a series of speakers this morning. The first one will be Jim Wilson, a dairyman in Riverdale, California, and really the founder of this movement. Jim?
I'd like to thank all of you for coming out today for this much-needed cause. This paper. I won't give you a long, drawn-out speech. I'll just put it back in the pocket and leave it. We're here today as the first united front the industry has seen in a long, long time, and we got to keep this momentum going, people. This is our livelihoods. This is our bread and butter. We have families that are being absolutely destroyed by our economic downturn and our milk prices. We're here to show Governor Jerry Brown and Secretary Ross we're not going to put up for this shit no more. We're not asking for any more. We're asking for a fair pay price. The law clearly states it. They refuse to read it and to follow it. It's robbing livelihoods out of our state. Our state has one of the highest unemployment rates in the nation. Our dairy contributes 453,000 full-time jobs. Our economic situation in our state is one of the worst in the nation. Our industry generates $68 billion in economic activity to our state, and it's all in jeopardy on two people's lack of decision-making. They need to do their job. We're asking them to do their job, and we're asking them to do it now. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sipe Vanderdusen, President of Milk Producers Council, and Sipe was the one that brought the lawsuit against the CDFA. Sipe?
Well, actually, Milk Producers Council did that, but you'll hear more about that from Rob Vanderdusen later. This is unprecedented. Dairymen are generally at their dairies milking cows and adding hundreds of millions of dollars to the economy of the state, which otherwise would be even more failed financially than they are now. We have many problems in this industry. We've always faced them, we've always dealt with them, we've always come up with a solution to where either most people are equally happy or most people are equally pissed off, but we always come up with a solution. But now with the ethanol mandate, which is one of the most asinine things that the government could ever have possibly have done, where if you think about it, it brings a real tear to your eye that 40% of corn is going into gas tanks. 15 billion gallons of ethanol is going into gas tanks, which raise milk prices. I'll tell you how bad it is. I don't know if everybody knows this, but ethanol has only about 70% of the BTUs that gasoline has. And furthermore, if you track the creation of ethanol from the plowing of the ground, to planting of the corn, to harvesting, delivery to the ethanol plants, it takes 1,000 gallons of diesel fuel to make 700 gallons of ethanol. It is beyond belief. It makes you just stand there just quietly. But with corn going up, all feeds go up. All feeds measure themselves against corn. It's not unlike gold. All currencies measure themselves against gold. So when corn goes up, everything goes up. What do we have for protection for a margin between our milk price and feed cost? Nothing. We have tried with the Dairy Security Act. It's in the Farm Bill. I think there's a very good chance of it passing. But today we have a 911 call. And we went to the CDFA. We went to Karen Ross. And we said, you know, our milk price here in California is consistently and constantly lower than any place else in the country. Why is that? Why can we not correct that when the law states to her that she must have a reasonable relationship with prices in other states? It's very clear. Yes. And that is one of the reasons why that's the reason why we did file a lawsuit, because when everything else fails, when the polite, legitimate, gentlemanly approach fails, and people like Karen Ross does not do her job, the only thing we have left is a court. None of us like courts. It's not the way we operate. But it seems to be the only thing that we can get her to respond to. So what was her response? We got 6 cents, which equals $500 a month for 1,000 cow dairy. That's not stardust, that's manure dust. In addition to that, she gave us a task force. You know, now we can sit around and talk about the problems that there is in that the dairy industry has, and hopefully we can come up with a solution. While people who have been in this business for generations are going broke. It is just unbelievable what's happening. I don't need to tell you that. We all know that. It's awful. And especially it's awful when you're not chasing women, taking drugs, or drinking yourself silly for no reason other than you're in an industry, you're going broke, you're going bankrupt. How horrible is that? And the worst thing is, it's not necessary. Karen Ross seems to, at least the implication is, she seems to take care of the processors. The cheesemakers are able to buy milk far cheaper here than they are in other parts of the country. She's very concerned about them. You know, if it walks, quacks, and craps like a duck, it ain't a pheasant. I think Karen Ross is a duck.
Andy, I think that's true.
My next speaker is Senator Anthony Cannella from the 12th District here in California. And he is chairman of the Senate Ag Committee.
Clearly I'm overdressed for this event, and I apologize for that, but it's very nice to see all of you here today. There's people that storm these halls every single day that really want you to be out of business. So it's good to see you up here fighting for your survival, because I'll tell you, it makes a difference and it's important. This milk issue is a big deal, and I've been working on it for several months now, because it's really not fair, right? Look, if you make poor business decisions and you go out of business, that's your problem. But when you're governed by things outside of your control, like an ethanol mandate that's taking all of your corn and giving it in gasoline rather than to your herd and to people, quite frankly, that's wrong. When there's a massive drought in the United States that raises corn prices and puts more of that corn to ethanol, and it hurts all of you, that's wrong. And so we had a simple request for the Secretary, and I personally took the letter around to my Senate colleagues in the Senate, and it was bipartisan. It wasn't just folks from the Central Valley that signed that letter. It was folks from San Francisco, Contra Costa County, Los Angeles, and it was a simple request. By law, you're required to hold a hearing. Hold the hearing. That's all we wanted. She refused. And I'll tell you, I like Secretary Ross. I think she's done a lot of good things, but in this case, she's dead wrong. She should have had the hearing. She should have understood the facts, because a task force is great, but when it comes to government, a task force is just really a task to do nothing, because nothing will happen, and it certainly won't happen in enough time to deal with the issues that you're faced with. You've got real problems, and not only are you a major industry in the state of California, but you're very important just to my children. Quite frankly, I have 4 of them, and I want them to be able to get a good, healthy supply of milk, and that only comes, in my opinion, from California dairies. So again, thank you for being here. I will continue to do all I can to help all of you, and by you being here today and continuing to fight for your survival, we'll make a difference. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Assemblymember Kathleen Galgiani. She is the chair of the Assembly Ag. So, Kathleen.
I guess I was wrong.
You know, you've been a critical industry in my district for a long time, my district being Merced County, Stanislaus, and San Joaquin County. And this is the second time in just the short amount of time that I've served in the legislature that I've seen your industry in crisis. And the first time was in 2008, 2009. And I know that then you lost your long-held savings at that time and can't afford to go through this again. I hope that the Secretary will take another look at this and reconsider the decision. I was speaking with one of my dairy farmers from Tracy yesterday, and one of his neighbors is asking to borrow feed from him. His neighbor has gone more than 30 days late with a bank loan and is not allowed to borrow any more from the bank. And the gentleman I was meeting with said, you know, I don't want to see him have his cattle starve, but I'm worried about whether I'll get my feed back. And that's a real concern, and I know that you're seeing that and feeling that now. I don't want to see a return of what we saw in 2008 and 2009 when dairy farmers in my district were sending their cattle to slaughter. This is very serious, and I really...
It's happening now.
I call on the Secretary to reconsider the decision that was made. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is David Valadeo, Assemblyman of the 30th District here in California. Oh, he's not here. Well, we'll move ahead. Our next speaker is Barbara Martin, or is better known as Firebrand Barbara Martin. She is the owner of Dairy Goddess Farmstead Cheese and Milk. Barbara?
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, what a great...
This has been... Oh, we lost it. My husband behind that.
It's powered by ethanol.
I feel like I'm on the floor.
Okay, check.
Nope. It's out of gas. Put some diesel in it.
Ethanol. Yeah, some ethanol. Ethanol burns faster.
That's what was in it.
That's hot here.
How's that? Well, this is a great day for me. I've been advocating for a long time through social media, and the power of that has really grown. And it's been one of my wish that as dairy farmers, we are here united. We are not having anyone else speak for us. We are in the house. As I'm looking out, there's so many great families and young people here, and I'm moved. And I'd like to ask these two future farmers to come up and join me on each side. This is why we're here today. We're here for these young people. We're tired of taking it. We're tired of letting people represent us that have been ineffective. 99% of California dairies are family-owned. That's all of us here today. We have lost over 300 of those family farms, with another 100 families expected to leave the farms this year alone. The CDFA is responsible to follow the law. We have rules and regulations that we have to follow, don't we?
Yeah.
The law is clear. The price announced by CDFA must be in reasonable alignment with prices paid for comparable milk produced and sold around the country. Have we been seeing this, folks? No! We have been robbed $20 million a month, while our manufacturers, the processors, have enjoyed record profits. This is unacceptable to me, and I know it is to you, right?
Yes!
We dairy farmers have been struggling just to make enough money to feed and care for our animals. This too is unacceptable. 300 plus dairy families gone, 100 more to exit, generations of families, generations of cows displaced and gone for good. People, they are not coming back. At what point is this considered a crisis? I mean, really, in any other industry, it would have been deemed a crisis long ago. We California dairy families have the highest standards. We are subjected to the strictest regulations, yet we are paid the lowest in the nation for our good quality milk. CDFA conducts their own statistics. Those stats clearly show that we dairy farmers make less for our milk than it costs to produce it. Doesn't CDFA read their own statistics? No, they don't. It's clear that they don't. Why on earth are we being denied a fair price? Is there any other industry in this world that expects to be paid less than what it costs to manufacture it? There's no other industry. Why are we taking this? We dairy farmers invite you, Governor Brown and Karen Ross, to visit our valley. Come see for yourselves the empty farms that have once flourished with families and animals. I want you to sit down with a family that just sent their animals to auction. I want you to hear and see them weep, because that is what they do. This is their livelihoods. These are their animals. And our lives as California dairy farmers are surrounded about the care and comfort and well-being of our animals.
Yes!
I plead with you to look at us here today, Governor Brown and Karen Ross. Look at all of these young people, our future. Look at us dairy families whom their livelihoods depend on this law to protect us. And all this law is a fair price for the milk that we worked so hard to produce. And as I stand before you, I ask you, fellow dairy farmers, we must not go back. We must go back now and take control of our product. We must take this control now. We must demand change. We must stand up to our co-ops and our manufacturers. We must demand that they produce a value product, a product that consumers want to buy, a consumer that will sell at a fair price. We have to stop being price takers and price makers. Dairy farmers, I'm telling you now, we can only take control of our product when we stay within supply and demand. We cannot be ignorant to the fact that we can go home and produce all the milk we want, flood the market, and then expect this fair price. Please listen to me. I plead with you. It is not about control of others, but control of ourselves. We must stay in line with the supply and the demand. If there is no demand for our product, the value is not there. Let us not fall back to our old ways and repeat our past mistakes. The co-ops, the processors, manufacturers depend on us going back to our old ways. Are we going to go back to our old ways?
No!
Now is the time. Milk is short. They need our product. They're not saying so yet, but they need our milk. Let us take charge, control our fate. Do not allow the processors to run our farms. Let us end our complacency. Let us continue our fight for a better and brighter future. For us, all of us, our children, farmers, we need to pull up our boots and stand proud. We should be proud. We are California dairy farmers.
Is there any doubt in your mind?
Nope.
Kind of interesting. We had speakers assigned and additional speakers that wanted to come before this group, which is a grassroots starting point. Our next speaker will be Jim Nielsen from Tahoma County.
Well, folks, Senator Jim Nielsen, Tehama County, but originally from Fresno County. Grew up on a dairy in Sanger. David Valadeo and I are the only two up here serving that have milked cows. And pulled calves. And I grew up on our dairy before milk cooling, and I know what it was like, and I know what it had become since. And I know what it's like in the dairy business. And I've never seen feed prices like they are today. I remember $25 a ton hay. But the whole point is, in terms of pooling, it is required that these costs that you must endure be taken into account to ensure a fair price for you. Not just for the consumer, but for you. There are other burdens that come to visit upon you as well. It is just not feed, it's the fuel costs and everything else. The regulations of the Regional Water Quality Control Boards that David and I fight on your behalf here in Sacramento, and David soon will on your behalf in Washington. Well, I continue to fight for you here.
Thank you.
This legislature worries about hound dogs and bobbing tails instead of its budget. The administration wants to foist upon us a speed rail train to nowhere. Well, folks, I appreciate that you took some time out of your busy days managing your dairies and working on those dairies, making your lives successful, to come to Sacramento, to stand up for what you believe in and what you deserve. Isn't it sad that you have to do that, that your government is in your way instead of helping you?
Yeah.
That's why it counts. As a young farmer many years ago, ladies and gentlemen, I realized that most of what was affecting my ability to produce and profit in farming, the same things you're experiencing this very moment, those things were government. And I figured out what I was doing about it was bitching and moaning to my farmer peers in a pickup or a coffee shop, or yelling at the cows. And I found out that there needed to be more. So I became a leader in my industry, a leader in the legislature, and I'm still working for you in that regard. But that's what motivated me. And that is what motivated you to come here to Sacramento today. Your voice must be heard, it can be heard, but only if you speak loudly. It is my honor to work with you on your behalf, and I'll fight the good fight for you in terms of these requirements within the milk cooling considerations. The costs that you have to endure be taken into account. And we do express those to this administration in the proper and formal ways, but they need to know that you're out here and you are important. Do they want to get up in the morning and drink a good glass of milk or what?
Yeah.
And they better realize that milk comes from you and your cows, not from government. Now, it's my honor to introduce my friend. And one of the highlights of my life has been to serve with a former dairyman years ago named John Thurman, and now with David Valadeo. He has done a magnificent job representing the area down in that valley that I love so much. And he's going to do a magnificent job for you in the United States Congress, fighting at another level. David Valadeo.
Everybody's a little shorter, I guess. Oh well. Well, my name's David Valadeo. I'm a dairyman, not farmer. I'm still a dairyman. Still milk cows, still live on my farm. This issue that's going on here today that we're talking about is an issue that's been going on for a long time. And it's not news to anybody. It's not a surprise. It's not a reason to start a task force today to start studying it. We talked to the secretary. I called the secretary personally last year and warned her when she denied the petition. We've got an issue, and when the things start to hit hard, you're going to find out real fast that your decision today is going to hurt us in the future. And she's starting to see it now. Earlier this year, I had a meeting in my office with the secretary again. And I brought in some of the leaders. I brought in Connie Conway. She took some time out of her schedule to visit. I had a couple of the staffers, and I also had the secretary and the undersecretary, and we talked about this issue. And I explained to her again, this is not right. We've got to fix this issue. What's going on in the country is that California's pricing system is different than what's going on in the rest of the world or the rest of the country. We've got 12 of them in the country, and California's is severely disadvantaged. It's not asking more from the consumer. It's asking for the right share. It's asking for the right amount, like the rest of the country is. That's all we're asking for. I've read a few articles in the paper, and they make it sound like we're asking for bailouts, and that's not what it is. When you compare the price of California, where we're $2 a hundredweight less than the rest of the country, that's not the way it's supposed to be. And when you've got a person in the position to make a difference, who actually makes the decision on what gets paid, how the price that's set by the market. The price is actually set by the market back in Chicago in a free market. But the secretary here in the state of California makes the decision on how the milk is, how the price is divided up. So she has a direct impact on the price of milk, and it's not more from the consumer. It's just what's supposed to be, what's fair. So when these times happen like now, what's going on with price of feed? That we can handle these downturns and not have to have this going on today. We read yesterday that 58 different members, or one attorney has handled 58 bankruptcies in California. There was only 1,700 of us left, and now we're down to almost 1,600. And this again is on the head of one person that knew this was coming a year ago, knew this was coming 6 months ago, and knew when I wrote her a letter a few months ago. This is a serious issue. And for a governor that's sitting right now asking us to pay more in taxes, has to understand that a profitable business pays taxes. And as soon as we can turn a profit, these dairies, this industry, those are taxes that go to the general fund and help keep this building afloat. And this is where we need to be, and this is what's going on. And that's all we're asking for today. And so I appreciate everybody taking some time out today to come up and visit and put some pressure on our governor and on our secretary so that she knows what's going on and what needs to be done. She has the power to do it. We've already paid for a study. She's got the McKinsey report that's 2 years old. She's got the details. She's got the power. She's got everything in her hands that she can make a difference today. And what you're doing today is making sure she knows you know she's got the power. So hold her accountable, and thank you very much.
Our final speaker will be Rob Vandenheuvel, who is General Manager of the Milk Producers Council.
All right, well, thanks for the opportunity to be here, and thanks to Jim Wilson for setting this up, and for Kevin Cruz for a lot of the coordination, and for everybody who brought their kids, brought their families. It's a big issue, big period of time here for the California dairy farmers. I don't need to tell you that you guys are hemorrhaging cash every day, but what's amazing is that they don't have to take our word for it at the Department of Ag. They run their own numbers. They do cost surveys. Some of you guys are probably part of their surveys where they calculate what it costs to produce a hundredweight of milk. And according to their own numbers, if you're milking 1,000 cows in California, you lost $1.5 million since '09. $1.5 million. You're losing $50,000 to $70,000 a month this year. So they don't have to take our word for it. They know the numbers. While the dairy industry around the country is struggling, nobody is facing these numbers like we are in California. Now, the state is directly involved in setting a price, and that's why we're here today, because they're not doing their job. Their own numbers tell us they're not doing their job. Like David said, this isn't a bailout, this isn't a handout, this money comes from the marketplace, this doesn't come from the California taxpayers. We're gathering today to send a loud message. And I'm telling you, I've worked with Secretary Ross here since she came into office last year. I'm the general manager of Milk Producers Council. We're bringing her to court because she's not doing her job, and I'm tired of begging her to do her job. So I'm asking you today, what I'm asking you to do today is to forget about Karen Ross and go to her boss. I want everybody here to call Jerry Brown. Have your kids call Jerry Brown. Have your wives and your husbands call Jerry Brown. Pull out your pen. I'm going to give you his number. You guys ready? 916. I'm going to repeat it, 445-2841. That's 916-445-2841. Call him on your way back to your dairy. Leave a message with his staff. Ask to talk to his staff. 916-445-2841. If this ends today, we failed. But if you go home, you make these calls, and you tell Governor Brown that his Secretary of Agriculture needs to do her job, and do it before a court forces her to do it. We don't have the time to wait. She needs to do her job now. Karen's number 2. Check the Milk Producers Council website because I don't have it written down here. So again, give Jerry Brown a call. He's the one that can make this happen. He's the one that's up for election next. Karen Ross doesn't run for election. And she's shown she doesn't care about producers. So I want to thank you all for coming today, and let's keep this momentum going. Don't let it stop today.
Rob, thank you. For many of us, this is the first time we've risen up to hear our voices heard. Don't let it be the last time. You've heard commitments from different speakers, but the obligation is upon each and every